NXT TakeOver WarGames 2020. It was a really good show, as all NXT TakeOvers are. Yeah, it was just really, really good. Let's get into this review, and I'll give me thoughts on the matches as we go, obviously. So, we started things off with the Women's WarGame match, which was Team Candice, that being Candice, Dakota, Raquel, and Tony, versus Team Shotzi, Ember, Io, and Rhea. It was a really good match, it was. Indy Hartwell got involved, sort of 3/4 of the way to the match. Yeah, it was, what did they do? They locked Io out of the cell, or out of the cages, whatever, locked her out multiple times. It was very funny, because every time she'd try to get in the ring, Raquel Gonzalez would just boot her off and shut the door, and then the ref would come and open the door, and she'd try to get back in and boot it off. Yeah. And the first people in the match were Dakota Kai and Emma Moon. Then Shotzi Blackheart joined. Then Raquel Gonzalez joined. Then Rhea. Then Tony. Then the other one, Io. And then finally Candice. Now, the one thing about the advantage that I don't understand right now, it's only just occurred to me, is that the advantage means that you get the numbers game, leading up to the last person. However, it's not much of an advantage when you sit there and you look at it and you go, yeah, but they're the freshest person because they came in last. So that's a bit weird for a WarGames match, having an advantage where the last person to come in is the team that doesn't have the advantage. Maybe what they should do is have it like, I don't know. Because then, it's the numbers game versus being fresh. I don't know, but yeah. So Candice came in last, and there's a whole bunch of weapons, all that shit, and Io kept getting stopped from getting in. This is where bloody Indy Hartwell showed up and sort of allowed Candice to get in without Io getting in. Then she had a big chain and whatnot, and a padlock. She locked the door and everything, and took the key with her as she left. And Io couldn't get in the cage for a while. She eventually did, and we will get to that. But in the ring, there was a whole bunch of shit just happening because it's a WarGames match, so that's how it all happens. But yeah, no, it was really, really good. Io eventually got in. Somehow, she climbed the cage with a trash can. Then stood up on top. There's a little platform there that they'd made just for her, you could tell. So she stood on that, put the trash can on her head and dove off. It was very funny. Yeah, and then eventually shit happened, and Raquel Gonzalez hit the powerbomb on Io from in between the two rings, sort of stood up in between them on the second turnbuckles, and hit that side powerbomb thing through a ladder that was set up in between the rings, and pinned Io to pick up the win, which surprised me because I didn't expect them to lose, especially with Io in the match being the women's champion. But I guess now she's got a challenger in Raquel Gonzalez, which could be good. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel like the Ember Tony feud, that's still going. The Raquel and Rhea feud, that's still going. We've now got Raquel and Io, and I do feel that the Shotzi and Candice feud's still going. What I should also mention is that what Shotzi has been building is a brand new tank, and this one fires projectiles, which was funny because Dakota's standing there in the ring waiting for them to sort of do their entrances and someone to come down. And Shotzi shows up in a tank, and then fires a projectile at the cage and hits the cage, and she nearly falls on her ass. That was funny. But yeah, so yeah, it was a pretty good match. Yeah, we then get Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa, which was a really good match. Thatcher's ear got busted open at one point, which was cool. And yeah, it was just, it's a Ciampa-Thatcher match, obviously. Typical Ciampa match and a typical Thatcher match. Put them together, that's what you got. But Thatcher lost to Ciampa. It was cool. I thought it was going to come a little bit earlier. They were sort of fighting on the apron, and I thought that maybe Ciampa would sort of be knocked in, and as Thatcher starts to get in, Ciampa pops up in Willow's Bell. Not exactly how it happened, but that was still the finish. But yeah, so Ciampa won with Willow's Bell. Should also go through and talk about the predictions. I had Team Shotzi, so I didn't get a point, but Seth had Team Candice, so he got a point. He was also defending the predictions title. We both had Ciampa, so he was still up a point. We then got the strap match between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. Really, really good match. Dexter Lumis is great, Cameron Grimes is great. It was going to be a great match. And it was very fun, very funny. Cameron Grimes, did his Cameron Grimes thing, which was awesome. And blindfold on Lumis. Before the match even started, Cameron Grimes came out with his own strap. The referee had one. And Cameron Grimes, they're going, we're using this strap or no strap. The referee had to sit there, look at Lumis and ask him if he cared if they used that strap instead. And Lumis just sort of looked at him, and the ref turned around. It was this zombie ref, that ref. But yeah, he just turned around, looked at Grimes, and just got, I don't think he cares. So they used Cameron Grimes' strap. That was funny. That other strap was in a velvet bag. That came into play a little bit later. When Grimes would take the strap out, he would put the velvet bag over Lumis's head, and then use that other strap as a weapon. Lots of things happened, and in the end, Lumis won with the silence. He wrapped the strap up around him and whatnot, and yeah, eventually that's what happened. I did think a couple of times that Grimes was going to hit the cave-in on Lumis, but he didn't, which was great, because Seth had Grimes and I had Lumis, so I got another point, so that tied things up. Then we got the triple threat match for the North American title, and so the way it went was that if Damian Priest won, Seth retains, because he would be by himself on 3 points, and so regardless on whether Era or team of the Kings of NXT won the next match, nobody could beat him because he was already a point up, so you'd just get another point tied. If Leon Ruff won, then it was, who was it? I think it was me and Joe win, which would bring us to a tie. If Johnny Gargano won, which he did, Mum and Carl tie. Then that would depend on who won the next match as to the tie, if there's a tiebreaker or not, which we will get to. So, as I said, Gargano won. There was about 17 ghost faces that show up during the match. The whole match, on the whole, was pretty good. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as it could have been, mostly because of the ghost faces. And I love horror movies, so Ghostface shows up. That's cool. I don't mind that, but there was 6 or 7 or something. Damian Priest took out all of them, and most of the match was very much Damian Priest not wanting to fight Leon Ruff, but Leon Ruff forcing him to. So all this shit happened. The ghost faces come out, and eventually one shows up and hits Priest in the back with a lead pipe as he was going for the reckoning on Gargano. That then sort of takes Priest out, and Gargano manages to reverse Leon Ruff, and eventually he hit one final beat on him and picked up the win. I thought he locked into Gargano escape for some reason, but he didn't. Hit one final beat and won. So yeah, and it turned out that the ghost face that hit Damian Priest was Austin Theory. I would like to see where this is going. It was a cool reveal and all of that, so yeah, I'm not complaining. Although I will complain about the predictions title not being mine, but you know, that's whatever. But no, the way, like the reveal of Austin Theory and all that, yeah, if this takes Theory, like if this elevates Theory, could be really good. They've got a lot of heavy hitters in NXT at the moment. Yeah, lots. Now, I was surprised that there was no Cruiserweight title match on the show either. There was one title match, which was the North American title. Like, obviously, all the other champions were in matches other than Balor and Santos Escobar / Jordan Devlin. But still, like, yeah, I thought, well, Kurt Stallion won a Battle Royal or something on 205 Live. I didn't watch it, but I've heard about it a couple of weeks ago, which made him #1 contender. So I thought maybe he would be on the show, but no, he wasn't. But yeah, so now we'll move on to the main event, which was WarGames match between the Undisputed Era and the Kings of NXT. So, to start it off for the Era was Kyle O'Reilly. And to start it off for Kings of NXT was not Pat McAfee, bloody Pete Dunne. That one. Then we had, that's right. Pat McAfee was then going to come out, but Oney Lorcan said, no, you stay, I go. And he went, yeah, sure, whatever, you go. He came down, that was all fine, 2-on-1. Then we got Bobby Fish, so that was cool, having O'Reilly and Fish against them two. Then Pat went to go again, but Danny Burch went, no, you stay, I go. And Pat went, okay, sure, fine, whatever. And so he came in. As he went to come in, he went and grabbed a bag, which had a cricket bat in it. It got used about 3 times and then forgotten about. Then Roderick Strong comes in, whatever. I'm pretty sure he brought in a chair or something, I don't know. Then Pat McAfee comes out, sort of struts down to the ring, doesn't really do much. Goes under the ring, gets 4 tables. One's got the name of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong. So that was cool. Yeah, so that happened. Then eventually Adam Cole came out. He got a chair which had Undisputed Era's logo on it. I should also mention the tables didn't only have their names on it, had the Era logo as well. So yeah, they all fought and whatever. It was just a really, really good match from this point onwards. Beforehand it was really, really good, but it was even better. Like, it was great from here on. Lots and lots of sort of one team being down and then the other team being down. Yeah, it was very, 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 very 50-50 the whole way. A few times I went, ooh, Kings of NXT are going to win this. Ooh, Undisputed Era is going to win this. And I couldn't tell. I just kept flipping back and forth over who was going to win. Obviously, I picked Era. But, yeah. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, you know, like a few times there was a few big spots and whatever. McAfee put... Who did they put? put Roderick Strong through his table, did a moonsault and just put him through it. It was a picture perfect moonsault. During the match, McAfee had climbed to the top of the WarGames structure and just dove off of it and took everyone out. But in the end, Undisputed Era won. Now, to point out the predictions here, if Era wins, then Kyle and Mum went straight into a tiebreaker. Okay, cool. If Kings of NXT won, Seth retains. Era won, we're going to a tiebreaker. So, to end this thoughts and review for pay-per-view, we will talk about the tiebreaker, because it's important to talk about the tiebreaker, which I will go through the matches, right, because I just picked 5 random matches and sent them to Kyle, and I was talking to Mum, so I just got to do it. Match number 1 was Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle. Finn Balor won. Both of them picked Finn Balor. Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. Baszler won. Both of them picked Baszler. Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. Kyle picked Black, Mum picked Gargano. Black won. McIntyre versus Andrade. Kyle picked Andrade, Mum picked McIntyre. Andrade won, so already she's lost. But then Gargano versus Dunn. Dunn won. Kyle picked Dunn. She picked Gargano. So Kyle is the predictions champion. He's an 11-time predictions champion. He has to defend it on Friday at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Best of the Super Juniors and World Tag League Finals. That is on Friday. Predictions will be coming out tonight. I am fairly certain. I've still got to tell Joe that they're on tonight, but yeah, I would imagine that the predictions for that will come out tonight. So yeah, tune in for them. Also tune in for the thoughts and review for a pay-per-view for Tribute to the Troops. That will be coming up very, very, very soon. Yeah, this one will come out first, I reckon. If this one doesn't come out first, then go and watch Tribute to the Troops if you haven't already. If you have, cool. Get ready for the predictions tonight, because this will definitely be out before then. So yeah, other than that though, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow the Facebook, Twitter and Twitch. Links to those are in the description. Other than that though, thanks for watching, goodbye and good night.